Alright, what is up everybody? It's Nick back here with another video. I'm gonna do some talk about what I've been thinking about business-wise for my business and what I plan to do and everything with that. Kind of where I'm sitting and just kind of break down my mind of running my business. Some positives, some negatives, what needs to change, what I don't need to change. So I'm gonna get right into it. I'm gonna start first off kind of the basis of the situation I'm in and the position I'm at. So currently I'm at a position where I'm doing these weekly drops, or for the most part I have been, and last fall was probably a peak. It was 100% the peak of my business. I was creating lots of content, getting lots of engagement, making the most, and I was dropping every single week, and every week I was creating new posts, trying new things, doing all these different things. And that's really what was working, was the fact that I was stepping out of my comfort zone and just not being scared to post whatever I wanted, because I was testing new things. I was new to the game, so anything I would just post anything and just see what happens, and it was working out really, really well. And I also feel like I just caught on with the trend that vintage clothing, which is what my website and my brand sells, I just resell vintage clothing. I think I caught on that it was trending, so anytime anyone saw it on their feed, they would just interact, follow, whatever with it, go to the page, go to my shop and get something. And now that vintage has been around, obviously it's been around for a long time, but during COVID it really peaked, and I think it's kind of at the tail end of the trendiness. And if you don't have a basis of your brand with your consistent customers, it's going to be really hard to grow as a business. And another thing is that Instagram and the algorithm and social media in general, TikTok, Facebook, whatever it is, everything is changing. Back in the day, if I had started my business 5, 6, 7 years ago, I would have been 100% in a completely different spot, way better spot for my brand. But nothing I can do. I started late and it's not the same. What I mean by that is, right now I have about 40,000 followers on Instagram. If I had 40,000 followers in 2015, I could post a picture of me or a picture of my water bottle, and 20,000 people at a minimum would see it that follow me. If I did that same thing now, I'd probably get 800 people to see it. So what that means is whatever you post is in direct correlation with how many people you see it, how good it is. If your post isn't good, people are not gonna see it. So it is a lot harder to get posts that people want to interact with. And I create good posts, but sometimes I'll have one that doesn't even get 100 likes. I think I had one from last week that got 60 likes with 40,000 followers, maybe 2,000 views on it. Like that is unheard of in 2015. And more people are creating content, so it's getting harder and harder to get that attention. And I think without growing a brand, growing a community, you're not going to be able to grow, because if you're not great at creating content, but you have a community of 1,000 people, you can get 800 likes no matter what you post. But if you have a page like mine where I grew it and didn't really focus on growing the brand on it, I probably only have 10, 15 people who constantly interact with my content, who buy from my page, and even then it's like they don't have much of a brand to grasp onto. They're just kind of here. They might buy it for a few months and then they'd go on to another brand. When growing a brand, you need a reason for someone to stick with your brand, someone to fall in love with your brand, want to rep your brand and be happy to rep your brand. One thing that I found, two things that I found that's really difficult without growing a brand is getting reviews. I've sold thousands of clothes and I have like not even 40 reviews on my page. How is that possible with thousands of sales? I think part of that is from the fact that through my brand, I'm not communicating enough, when people leave a review, you can see it on my website. If people really, really, truly were engaged with my brand, they would kind of notice that, and they would feel like, okay, I want to leave a review. I'm on that page. That's cool. I want to keep supporting these guys. I want other people to support them. I want them to grow. I'm going to leave a review. For me right now, I don't even have 40 reviews, and I've been sending out these thank you cards with my orders. And if they leave a review, I say, if you leave a review, we'll give you 10% off. I haven't had a single person take this up. I've also started handwriting on these cards because I don't think the text print here is great. I might, for my next one, honestly delete this whole paragraph and just handwrite everything for the next set. And the other thing was, and then also with tagging me on their posts. I've had one person tag me in a story wearing my stuff. Thousands of clothing items have gone out. Not a single person has been like, oh, I'm wearing this and it's from this brand, I should probably tag them. Not a single, what? I don't know what it is, but it's that brand growing aspect that is lacking 100%. And so what I'm gonna do for my brand is take that step back. I got so caught up in doing these drops every single week that I lost track of growing the brand. I was like, I need to drop every week to make money. And I wasn't putting time into growing the brand at all the whole time. So that is something that I need to work on, the engagement, the brand building. And the first thing I'm gonna start by doing with that is less drops. Take my time and make more meaningful posts, more personal posts, things like that. Also, I think handwriting these letters, thank you letters in my sales is a big one. Again, another thing, okay, enough on that brand building aspect. Another thing about that is hard about running this business is when I'm doing these drops, let's say on average, I spend $20 on a piece, sell it for 40. I get 30 after shipping and fees. So I'm making $10, right? And if I want 100 pieces a drop, 20 times 100 is $2,000. Drop day comes, I sell 25%. So out of those 100 pieces, I sell 25 for $40. Let's say 10 profit, $250 for a whole week's drop. 25 items, $10 profit, $250 for a whole week. And then by the time that drop throughout the rest of the week, it might sell up to 50%. So $500 for a whole week's worth is not sustainable whatsoever. And then you get to the point where, okay, I can drop more. Say drop 200 items. Well, that's $4,000. And then I'm only profiting $1,000 within that week. $1,000 profit, and I have to do that 4 times. That's $4,000 out of times that by 3, 12,000 revenue. I'm only profiting $4,000. That is very bad. And you're like, well, what if you just sell more than 25% on your drop day and more than 25% the week at, like throughout? That's where the brand building comes in. Because that's realistically where I'm at, is selling 25% of my drop and then another 25% for the rest of the week. And you could easily sell 50, 60%, 80% on your drop days. There's two problems with that. One is the brand building. Brand building is key, because even if you have a really strong community and brand and someone doesn't like love a piece, but it fits them and it's kind of cool, they're gonna buy it. But for me, with no brand, no community, someone's not gonna buy it unless it's absolutely perfect. They love it and every single thing. It's the right price and everything. If something's priced too high but they love my brand, they're gonna pay too much for it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's too much for them. They're gonna pay it because they like my brand. So price isn't really deterring, like deterring factor, I guess. It is without a brand. Because if someone sees my piece and they don't love my brand and they're like, oh, that's too much, I'm gonna go try to find it cheaper from somewhere else. That's what happens. But with a brand, it doesn't matter if the piece is $5, $10 more than they want to pay. The other thing with the dropping part and only selling 25% of it is, I'm dropping like one-of-a-kind pieces here, and sometimes I might double up and have two of the same piece, but most of the time, 95%, 99% of the time, no, 99% of the time, barely ever am I getting doubles of stuff. I might at like a couple months later, but for my drops, 99% of the time, every piece is one of a kind. I have 100 different pieces, whatever. If someone's a size large and love that piece and it's an XL, they're not gonna buy it. So you really need to have someone who is a small, medium, large, XL, 2XL, extra small. You need to have, like, if I want to sell a piece more guaranteed, I need to have every single size of that shirt, for example. But everything's one of a kind. So I need to either have a lot more options and hope that someone likes 5 different pieces and hopes that 1 or 2 of them is their size, right? Or like, you kind of get the point there. Everything's one of a kind, so it needs to fit the person. And so the two parts of it, and I have 0 of them. I don't have the brand and I don't have 5 of the right size. I need to have the brand down and the price down and the sizing down. Not even the sizing. The sizing is less of a thing. If someone's a large and there's an XL shirt they like, but they like my brand, they're gonna buy it. So the brand needs to be the main factor, the core of selling, because I mean, I just show my point. If something's a size off, someone will still buy it. If something's $5, $10 more than they want, they're gonna still buy it because of the brand. That's what's gonna make my brand be more successful. So I think taking steps back and focusing on that is a big thing. And I feel like I do. I mean, I respond to every comment. People DM me, I respond, I talk to them. I have a community chat on Instagram that I talk in. Maybe I have to be a little bit more personal. Maybe I have to create stories like this that are a little bit more personal. I'm gonna mess around with it. I'm gonna go back to my stage of trying different things and see how I can grow a community. I think a big thing is that I'm scared that people won't like who I am, and that'll cause them to leave my page. But I think in the long term, the people who do like that content and who do like me will stay, and new people that come in, if they like me or not, they'll stay or leave because of me, not necessarily because of the clothes I have, and not because if I don't have a brand, they'll come, they'll buy, they'll go. If I have a brand, if I have a community, they come in, they feel welcome, they see me, they see my community, they see everything, they're gonna stay because they're gonna feel welcome, they're gonna want to be a part of it. And without that brand core, without that community core, people are just gonna come in and out. I have to work 5 times as hard to get new customers every week. Versus if I can treat my current customers, my community, my small community, grow my community really well, they're gonna buy from me every single week, and new people come in and they're gonna stay. They're gonna buy from me, and that's where the growth comes. It doesn't come from just having the best pieces all the time, even though that is honestly the goal. You do want to have the best pieces, things like that. It's not something that is needed when you have the brand and the community. So that's gonna be it for this video. This is pretty long. Hopefully you got something from this. Hopefully this got you thinking maybe your brand is lacking something, or maybe you want to start a brand and you're not even thinking about the community base. Community is everything when it comes to brand growing. I think out for a while, I definitely got taken away by the money and was like, oh my gosh, like I'm making, like, I wasn't even making crazy money. I was making a few $1,000s, but I was happy because I wasn't working in an office, and got to a point where I was like, oh my gosh, if I drop more, I can make more. If I post this, I'll make this. If I do this, this will happen. And I kind of shifted away from growing the community to just making money. And I left my community in the dust, and it kind of fell apart. So this is going to be the rebuilding brand of that. But that's going to be it for this video, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll catch you next video. Peace.